And of course, the MechaGodzilla roar was great. I loved it. It's freaking amazing. MechaGodzilla looks awesome. Of course, the main point of how he's different, though, this time and for the rest of the franchise, he'd be created by man. Of course, MechaGodzilla here has a great origin because it ties it together with Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. He's created by the wreckage of Mecha King Ghidorah. Humans, the UNGCC, salvages Mecha King Ghidorah's severed head from the ocean, and then they study the future in technology from, I think, from the 23rd century, and that enables them to make MechaGodzilla. That's a pretty awesome origin. He was built for the technology of the future, which is pretty awesome. I mean, in a perfect world out there, Heisei series is still going in a perfect alternate dimension, because that was so interesting to think about it, which I was so pissed off. In the future movie, we had fucking Mogira, fucking Woody the Woodpecker as a robot, instead of something as awesome as fucking MechaGodzilla. I mean, you had all that advanced technology, so you can make a better looking robot than that. But I was covering Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. So his origin is great. The number of attacks he has is also fantastic. And I love how they went different fighting style. The Showa era definitely did the same thing with a lot of like shooting shit at Godzilla, but this one also has close-up weapons, like the anchored cables are great weapons, make the fight entertaining. A number of beam weapons, which are great. And they also gave him an internal flaw, which is overheating during a fight. He tends to do that, which usually causes a problem for the system. This MechaGodzilla was a great creation here. And I love that this time the humans actually pilot him from within. They're actually inside of him. Something that would be skipped later on in Millennium Series. He's basically piloted by the jets who fly around him. And the Showa era was all about having a hidden base where they control MechaGodzilla. Not bashing on any of those, control techniques, but I just thought this was interesting and really, I guess you could say, Gundam-like to be actually inside the robot. I think they are. No, they're inside his skull, I believe, his head. Or some, I'm not actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're inside his head in this movie, and that's how they control MechaGodzilla. But enough gushing about him. He was done fantastically well, and he had a great theme. But move on. Rodan, I love Rodan in this movie. I mean, although they kind of redid him to be smaller than Godzilla, to me, it didn't affect me from enjoying him. Unlike the Showa counterpart, who was basically equal size to Godzilla as far as height goes. This Rodan was made to look more natural and more Pteranodon-like. So we don't really spend too much time with him on the ground, per se, mostly in flight. But this Rodan looks fantastic. I love what they did. This is my favorite Heisei renditions of a monster. And that also goes for the Fire Rodan when they redo the color scheme. Which one thing they did like about Final Wars, they added the red-orange color scheme for Rodan, but give him the Showa look, which was fantastic. I love that look. I love that again, the uranium heat beam. Giving Rodan a beam was interesting because in the original 1956 Rodan did in fact have a breath weapon. It was kind of like a little steam breath type of thing, but it was only used once in the film and it was never used ever again in the Showa era, which is interesting. So the fact that he got one again after all this time is great. Rodan's role in the movie was awesome. I love how they're enemies again. But in the end, they do pay tribute to the Showa era of Godzilla and Rodan being allies by having Rodan save Godzilla's life. So, to me, just excellent writing there. Like I said, they're doing a lot of new things, but they also pay a lot of tribute to the 60s and 70s era of Godzilla. Well, I should say, namely the 60s, but yeah. Godzilla himself. Godzilla looks great in this movie. To me, it's an improvement from the Godzilla vs. Mothra. Like I said, the Heisei edition, Heisei version, Godzilla, I should say, doesn't vary too much between the movies. But to hear, in this movie, he's definitely more slimmed down. He's not as chunky looking, which, didn't really bother me in Godzilla vs. Mothra. But to notice that change here, it's worth noting. Godzilla did look fantastic in this movie. Slimmed down a little bit, and they removed that little annoying, beep sound of Godzilla's breath. So it's back to the same old normal sound, and it's great. This is the only movie where Godzilla's not an outright fucking destroyer like he was in the past movies up to this point. He's only here because he wants his baby, but that makes it interesting. And yeah, just the first time Godzilla wouldn't be an outright villain in the series, which is interesting to note. And of course I should note that I do love Godzilla's eyes, but I'm pretty sure I covered this before in reviews, but like I just want to know it again because those eyes look great in this movie. Freaking love them. And I also love that if you never noticed, they use a lot of the classic Godzilla roars in this movie, which to me sounded freaking amazing. People always say they missed the tiger-esque growl that he had in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and Godzilla vs. Biollante and Return of Godzilla, but I love the roars we hear in this movie. They match, and it's because they pays a lot of tribute to the classic Godzilla movies that have that classic roar in there. It makes a lot of sense. And the movie, one of my favorite, I won't say my favorite monster thing, but one of my favorite things about this movie is that Baby Godzilla was done right. Baby Godzilla looks fantastic. One of the biggest things I cannot stand with the classic movies was fucking Manila, or Minya, whatever you want to call him. He was a little piece of shit. He didn't look anything like Godzilla. There was very, very, very few things that could connect that piece of shit to Godzilla. In fact, Son of Godzilla, where Minya was introduced, was so... They had to make such a shitty-looking version of Godzilla just to make Minya look like he could actually be Godzilla's son, which to me it should have been the other way around. You need to base a Baby Godzilla off of Godzilla, not base Godzilla off of Baby Godzilla. Which, like I said, led to one of the most horrid versions of Godzilla ever put to film. Here, Baby Godzilla looks like Godzilla, has the same mammal-like ears. Interestingly enough, he has a blue hue to his skin. Basically, he's blue and white. And of course, he has the same kind of eyes, well, golden eyes, not the same type of eyes as Godzilla per se, but similar. Nice little fangs, an actual snout, not a pushed-in fucking doughboy face. And a very interesting roar, not the fucking donkey type of bullshit he had in Destroy All Monsters and other films. Like I said, Baby Godzilla was such a miraculous achievement for the Toho this time around. It made him an awesome part of the story. He looks great, sounds great, and he plays a pivotal role in the story other than just being a punching bag, unlike Manila. His relationship basically goes with Rodan. He's Rodan's... They're not technically brothers, but that's kind of what the film goes for. Rodan protects Baby Godzilla as if he's his brother, both from Godzilla and from MechaGodzilla, and it's just great. It's a great dynamic. I love how they did that. It's freaking awesome. Baby Godzilla would get fucked up yet again in Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. That's why I can't stand Space Godzilla, that movie, because all the steps they took in the right direction. For this movie, they fucked over in the next one, which is just so sad. But yeah, moving to the fights in this movie are freaking awesome. One of my favorite fights in the entire Showa era is just Godzilla vs. Rodan. Some of my favorite fights from this era would be Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, Godzilla vs. Biollante. But Godzilla vs. Rodan was one of the best fights to me. It was so different than most fights, because we wouldn't see this again to Godzilla vs. MechaGodzilla, where we would fight with a lot of quick cuts to really get the feel of the way Rodan fights, which is coming in really fast from behind or the sides, or really coming right in Godzilla's face and trying to peck his eyes out. And I love how they took the time to actually add this great sound effect of imagine like a chisel hitting stone, and that's what it sounds like when you hear Rodan's beak come into contact with Godzilla's skull. Sometimes you even hear a little crunch. It's just fantastic. It's a great fight. And even though Rodan's at kind of a disadvantage because he can't really do much damage to Godzilla, he's still a really great opponent and ends up knocking Godzilla to the ground. Godzilla has to strangle him to get him off. You see Rodan throwing up that, I don't know if it's blood or food, I don't know, but that was a great freaking fight. Then you hear Rodan's theme and Godzilla's theme battling it out. It's awesome. The fights of MechaGodzilla, to me, they rely more on the music and just the majesticness of the shots. MechaGodzilla hovering and firing weapons at Godzilla. But it still works. But those rely more on the music specifically, other than really quick cutting to make them great fights. But they're still awesome. I really enjoy those moments. And then the whole end battle with Godzilla and all the... I forget is it Kyoto? No, Kyoto was the city they fought at. Well, Godzilla wrecked it. They didn't fight there. Godzilla had already beaten MechaGodzilla and the army by then. But when Godzilla... that's weird. I don't know what city they fight at the very end. But in any case, it's a humongous showdown, because I didn't talk about Garuda, but Garuda is basically this jet type of thing that Kazama made. And at the end of the movie, they decided to unite Garuda with MechaGodzilla, which makes Super MechaGodzilla. which is basically just even more firepower for basically already a walking fucking cannon. And MechaGodzilla and Rodan fight, which is great because we didn't see Rodan get to interact with MechaGodzilla from the Showa era at all. So to see it happen here is freaking awesome. Yeah, they have a great fight there, and then Godzilla shows up. It gets even more epic. They have an epic fight in the city. MechaGodzilla, unlike the Showa counterpart, actually, well, I can't say that. MechaGodzilla did beat Godzilla a few times in the Showa era, but here it was finite. MechaGodzilla did a bane on Godzilla and blew out his spine by, once again, like I said, attacking that nerve center in his hindquarters, basically at the base of his spine, blowing it up. Who, after a great tense scene with Miki Sagusa is really struggling with her. She should actually cripple Godzilla and end this whole saga. But of course, acting under orders and knowing it's for the greater good at the time, she goes through with it and cripples Godzilla. And then from there, unable to walk, MechaGodzilla just pummels Godzilla with fucking a cavalcade of the plasma grenade and the eye beams and the mouth breath and the Garuda shoulder cannons. And Godzilla, I believe, basically just fucking dies or comes very close to dying. But I do believe at that time, basically, he was dead. And that was just awesome. And then, like I said, Rodan, after getting severely wounded by MechaGodzilla, comes in and sacrifices his life, giving up his energy and radiation to Godzilla, which gives Godzilla the super